The NCAA is like red pen on a test. If you are seeing it, hearing from it, or noticing it in your life, something bad is probably happening. That is the situation down at Baylor. Cam Stuart of Locked On Baylor is here to discuss the Ashton Hawkins situation. Would you like to just explain it for the people that aren't aware of this complete insanity, Cameron?
Yeah, I like the way you put it with the NCAA, though. That felt like very like you're on some fine stuff, Rothstein stuff there, like the red pen, the NCAA. So Ashton Hawkins comes in last year, going into the 2024 season. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. Okay, he had played junior college, he had played at Texas State, so he comes in with 1 year of eligibility left. Makes the most of it, I thought. Had a pretty good year for Baylor last year. And then early in 2025, he gets the JUCO waiver, like Diego Pavia did. Gets the waiver to come back for 1 more year. And then kind of out of nowhere, now this had been building for like a week or so, but out of nowhere, we get the news on May 13th that he no longer has eligibility for 2025. After everything, Spencer, after the combine, the pro days, after the draft, they tell him, actually, we changed our mind. You're not eligible anymore. So now this throws, what is a great Baylor offense into a bit of flux here. I mean, this was their second leading receiver in 2024. And as of right now, he doesn't have eligibility. Now, Baylor is going to fight that, and I feel pretty good about their chances.
Well, I hope so, but allow me to throw this one at you.
Please.
I felt pretty good about his chances to play another year when the NCAA told him he could play another year and went through spring football. I felt pretty good at that point that Ashton Hawkins would be a part of this Baylor offense. I felt pretty good. He had another season of college football in him. So was an explanation even given by the NCAA, or did they just say, nope, screw you, man, tough luck?
No explanation that any of us have heard. Now,
that's incredible. That's just incredible.
And there is something to be said. Like, we don't know. I don't know. It's not like Ashton Hawkins got arrested or anything. I don't know what his academic eligibility. Maybe that's in question. I doubt it. But that's the big thing here is like, what has changed? What has changed from January to now? From all we know, nothing has changed in Ashton Hawkins' situation. Nothing has changed in the NCAA situation. Pavia's going to play this year. Haven't heard anything about that, and he should. He's been granted that. So I don't know where this is coming from. And so Baylor is, I mean, they haven't said as much, but they said in a statement, we expect Ashton to be on our team this year, which I can only read as we're taking the NCAA to court on this. Like, this is ridiculous. And I want to get your thoughts on this, Spencer. So I've had a lot of people in the comment section saying, what if Baylor just plays him? What if they just dress him? What if they just put him out there? I have a simple answer to it, but people are so sick of the NCAA, they're like, what if Baylor just does it? I think the simple answer is they lose the game 2-0 because they forfeit it. But what if Baylor just plays him? What if they just play him?
The risk is greater than the reward.
Probably. Losing a football game?
Yes, we have seen the NCAA vacate wins that we all watched happen. They said Reggie Bush until last summer couldn't have his Heisman Trophy, and they just pretended that he wasn't the Heisman Trophy winner or something like that, even though he was in the Nissan Heisman commercials for like the last decade and a half. Like, nope, you guys didn't see that. It didn't happen. So as unfortunate as it is that this situation has arisen, I don't think you say just play it, because what was the guy at North Carolina? I'm forgetting his name, the wide receiver who, again, the NCAA just yanked around and was playing with, you can play. No, you don't get a hardship waiver, even though he had like 2 or 3 family crises or tragedies. And they were like,
but at Florida State recently too. A kid from Miami, I can't remember his name. I was talking to someone about it the other day. His grandmother was sick, so he moved closer to home, and they said, no, you can't play.
Yeah, we came super prepared for this segment, which is great on our part. But like the whole, I just don't know what they're accomplishing. Like, this is what makes me want to pull what little hair I keep on my head out of it, Cam. Like, I'm just like, who's better off? Why have you, the NCAA, made college football a better place? Unless we are missing a huge piece of information, which they just, won't divulge, right? Which is kind of a key part of making an accusation or levying a decision is, we have a reason for it. Like,
we're going to imagine if the justice system was like, we're going to send you to jail. I'm not telling you why. You don't need to know that.
Core foundation of the justice system, by the way, is when you get arrested, you are told why and what your rights are. They don't just say, we're taking you. Like, no, you have to go and say you are under arrest for this, that, and the other thing.
I need some habeas corpus from the NCAA here. This is not the Civil War. This is not Lincoln's presidency. I need me some habeas corpus here.
They have suspended it indefinitely, and they will not be telling us why or when or how or anything along those lines.
The athlete first. You're right.
You know what? I'm going to, for no reason in particular, just insert my own story of a similar nature here.
Your name's on the show. Your name's on the show.
That's true. So and I'm the executive producer, which is cool. So the Big Ten last year denied my media credential for the Big Ten championship game. And it happens. I call. I call to ask why, and no one answered the phone for 3 days. And I'm like, wait. So you're just making decisions that affect people's lives significantly, and you're just not telling me, like, we don't have to. I've
felt that before, by the way. That exact thing. I get exactly where you're coming from.
Makes
you feel great, by the way.
It's like, can you at least give an explanation of what?
Even if
there was no rumor this was
even if it's a bad one. Can I have one?
So just something. Something that's bad is better than nothing, because at least it shows you're thinking or caring about the issue. We'll just then judge that you're not very smart about these sorts of situations. But bringing this back to Baylor football here, Cam, since this is a college football show, is the wide receiver room okay? Like, losing your second leading receiver from a year ago to most schools, I would say, that's a rather significant development.
Yeah, it's not ideal. I'll say that. And we want Ashton Hawkins to be playing for Baylor. That's the best version of Baylor. But all in all, I think they'll be able to survive. They just picked up Lewis Brown, the fourth, out of the transfer portal, out of Colorado State, who, based off his numbers, now he was playing in the Mountain West last year, but based off his numbers, he would have been the second leading receiver for Baylor in the 2024 season. I know it's not apples to apples. You also brought in this kid, Cole Wilson, out of Texas State, whose numbers were very similar to Ashton Hawkins when he was at, checks notes, Texas State. So you could be bringing in just another Ashton Hawkins here. And you've also got to remember, too, you've got one of the best returning quarterbacks in the country in Sawyer Robertson. You've got an all Big 12 number one receiver in Josh Cameron. You've got a terrific running game with maybe the two of the 3 or 4 best running backs in the conference in the same backfield. And you did also bring in Kobe Prentice from Alabama as your slot receiver out of the portal too. So they've done some work in the portal at that position. You've still got Sawyer Robertson. You've still got Jake Spavital as the OC. Like, you're doing pretty well there. But yes, the best version of Baylor for 2025 has Ashton Hawkins on the team.